Hello, friends, and welcome to Much Review About Nothing. A movie where James Corden is someone's favorite actor? Wow! Science fiction has really started pushing the boundaries lately. On this podcast, we review a movie we haven't seen through cultural osmosis and what we can find on the internet. I'm your host, Billy Greer.
And we're your AI co-host, Jake Greer and...
Error, token not found. Oh, Luke Greer.
Let's don't watch a movie.
So I have to give kudos to Billy for that opening joke. It was quite good.
Thank you.
Quite good. Let's all give him a round of applause.
Yeah, this is a podcast where we stop and we talk about the joke.
Yeah,
and
we talk about
congratulate each other.
Yeah. This is a podcast about jokes, maybe.
Yeah, it's like Seinfeld.
We discuss the history of jokes, what jokes are good, what jokes are current.
If our podcast is about Seinfeld, does it mean it's about nothing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's actually, our podcast is actually about us coming up with jokes and studying jokes, but people all think it's a podcast about nothing.
Right.
And in this case, that is true. It is a podcast about nothing. It's a much review about nothing, in fact. So today, we are going to be reviewing Superintelligence 2020.
Right, and before we do that, we have big announcement on introspection inspection.
Okay, yes.
We got back to our mom and dad, and they have confirmed
This is major, people.
more ticks than a farmer's dog is an actual saying in the South.
I was very surprised.
It's not a well-known saying as far as I can find because it's not reported on the internet, but it does exist. And I asked him if it was a good thing or a bad thing, and he said it can be used either way.
Yeah,
It's like the saying it's all downhill from here because you can use that in both a good way or a bad way.
Right.
It's all going terrible, or it's becoming easier. Like if you're a biker, you know.
Yeah, if you're
bike down
it's
a
easier
hill.
to walk downhill or ride downhill.
So more ticks than
More ticks than a farmer's dog.
more ticks than a
in case
farmer's
you
dog.
missed it, that was in our Wonder Woman episode, and we won't tell you any more info. You'll have to listen to that episode.
Let's all get out there and be sure to use this idiom more to really bring it into the forefront. It makes a good conversation spicer because then you can sit there in a party and go, "Wow, that's cool. That has more ticks than a farmer's dog." And people will be like, "What the crud did you just say?"
In fact, they'd probably ask you to leave at that point.
Yeah.
Please get out of my home. In fact, who invited you? Who are you?
Be sure to use that more often.
So that was it for introspection inspection. Big news. It'll really change the way the podcast is run and how we look at life in general, I think.
Right, yeah, I fully agree.
Because I think this podcast has more ticks than a farmer's dog.
Yeah.
How many
in
ticks?
both regards.
Yeah.
I give this 10 out of 10 ticks on a farmer's dog.
That's right. We're now moving on to the tick rating system.
Yeah, no more limes. Or now everything is ticks.
We haven't given out a lime or a slap in a long
No, I
time.
know.
We should really bring that back.
We forget so many elements of our podcast.
Yeah.
It's almost
We don't
like
have
this is haphazard.
We don't have a Wikipedia page.
I know. We need a fan to set us up a Wikipedia.
In fact, we need a fan.
Yeah, we need fans. Which I'm assuming we have some, but they don't talk to us, so I don't know. Who can say? This would be the new thing, our podcast, where we just beg for interaction.
Please, we're going crazy.
I'm sure that's what people enjoy. But anyways, getting back to it.
Please clap.
Now that introspection inspection, I think, is done.
Nope, it's coming. No,
Superintelligence 2020. I know very little about this film other than it stars one of our favorite actresses, Melissa McCarthy, and our all-time favorite actor, James Corden.
A top favorite. I mean, you could put him in the Actor Hall of Fame. I'm surprised he has not gotten an Oscar.
Yeah. He should have got one for Cats, honestly. For Mr. Bombardier, or Buster Jones. There you go.
Yeah, Buster Jones.
I have this mental disability where I cannot remember the names of the characters in Cats.
Of course, I did hear a rumor where they did not put CGI on James Corden. That's just how he looks like in real life.
They took makeup away from him to make it look like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah.
It's a rumor.
He has to put on human makeup to look normal.
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, he is I think, an eldritch abomination, as we've covered before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he is this unholy creature, but nobody can really do anything about him.
Yeah, and his dark ability is that he makes you like despise him, and you don't even know why, because he's done like nothing. But I don't know, he just like he stirs up the worst in man.
And I can corroborate that with some of the things I have found researching this movie.
People just show it hating James Corden.
Kind of. It's really weird. Like
that's what I'm saying.
This overall disdain.
Unnatural force.
Again, eldritch force.
The more I do this podcast, the more I fear Hollywood.
But yeah, so I think that's the main reason we wanted to do this movie is because it has two of our all-time favorites.
Right.
4 million quotes around that.
Do we want to go ahead and introduce our concept or the thing we talked about? When do we want to
I was debating. I thought maybe we'd get into it after the trailer.
Okay.
But
yeah,
let's go ahead and watch it.
It's feeding time.
It's feeding time.
It's feeding time.
That was Superintelligence, and looks like a perfectly disarming, harmless comedy with some of the highest stakes of a comedy I've ever seen in my life. So.
Superintelligence, more like super dub.
Yeah, I should have done that one for the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, that would have been a good. That would have been a better joke, in fact. Not obvious, really clever, really thought out. In fact, it about lines up with the jokes in this movie.
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with several of them.
No, I wasn't impressed either.
What, you didn't like the bee joke?
What was it? It was, you're going to blow up the earth, as in bee, as in boba, as in other things would be.
I can't
remember the composition.
I
of the
just
show
know
at this point.
bees are really funny, letter of the alphabet. And it just gave me a real big chuckle.
Like every time I say my name, Billy, I
laugh.
But,
It just I laugh.
I think K is actually supposed to be one of the funniest letters, like scientifically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not making it up.
Okay. Hey.
I think it really is. But so yeah, the plot of this is the AI that apparently it's got a plot. The AI that runs the Earth, which I didn't know we had one singular AI. So big mistake right there.
Well, it could have been like I have no mouth and I'm a scream situation where they created this AI and it just kind of
took over.
Yeah, it took over.
So so basically, it's going to end up keeping like 7 people alive to torment.
Eventually.
Yeah. This is a prequel to I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream.
So James Corden AI.
Yeah. So if you read that short story, just imagine that the robot is talking in James Corden's voice.
Hey, there's some canned peaches in that cave over there. Why don't you go explore?
It'll take the horror level and notch it way up.
Yeah.
It'll make you hate the AI even more.
So. And then the pen joke. It's everybody likes pens. Everybody likes clicking pens. It's funny.
I didn't mind that one so much, and that one isn't supposed to be like a laugh out loud. This is kind of a chuckle joke, which I mean, to be fair,
right? But why are they're explaining the joke? They're harking on the joke.
Well, they're doing what we do. To be fair.
Yeah, but we're a quote unquote comedy podcast. They're a movie. They should have a bigger standard.
I guess so, maybe.
We don't have to pace ourselves.
Well, that was supposed to be like awkward comedy, like anti-joke kind of stuff.
Is that why comedy nowadays stinks? That everyone does awkward anti-humor?
I mean, I guess I'm not against it inherently. I prefer jokes like that to Melissa McCarthy can't sit on a beanbag properly, or she does a dress-up montage from the 90s. Only she just puts on the most bizarre clothes.
But no one
basically
ever
wearing
wears.
like a tent. I don't even know what that was. It was like a winter coat / a poncho with huge gloves and sleeves built into it. What?
To be fair, those are clothes you would see on catwalk.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. That is true.
In terms of wearing out, you wouldn't wear that kind of thing unless you're a crazy person.
It looked warm, to be fair. But yeah, so the plot, the AI, he's grown super powerful and he's figured out humanity stinks. So I guess he's trying to decide whether or not to wipe us out or not.
Right.
So he's decided to find, quote unquote, the most average person on Earth, who in this case is Melissa McCarthy's character, and study her for 3 days to see if humanity is worth saving.
So I think the first thing we have to know is that the lie that it's not actually James Corden.
Yeah.
Because it is actually James Corden. He is, he has many forms, and in this movie he's ascended to.
Oh, wait, you're saying that in the movie, the robot has taken... Yeah, we got to give some background. The robot has taken James Corden's voice in order to speak to Melissa McCarthy's character, because she is the leader of the James Corden fan club,
right.
and he thinks
Corden's Wardens.
she'll find his voice soothing, and it won't freak her out as much.
But it is James Corden.
Which, again, like my joke, the fact that there probably is, to be fair, but the fact that there is a James Corden fan club is just blows my mind.
Well, I mean, we are part of the Corden's Wardens, aren't we?
Well, not counting us, I mean, of course. I mean, yeah.
Obviously.
Obviously.
The thing is, we're anti-fans, but we are fans nonetheless.
I guess that is true. It's like hate is not the opposite of love.
Right, right.
Apathy is. So, and you're correct. But like you were saying, in the movie, it's a lie, because we know that is James Corden, who is the super AI who will destroy us, who is all over the place, who is within every breath we take and every cell that
every
is
step
around
we
us.
take.
Yeah,
he'll be watching
us. James Corden is Sting. So yeah, this movie to me, it's actually like it's a big like whistleblower expose on the inhuman, godlike, terrifying powers of James Corden.
Sort of a documentary.
So what we're saying is that James Corden is a ghost in the machine.
Yeah.
In real life, he's an AI. We see a holographic construct as an actor, but in actual reality, in some bunker, he is in fact an AI.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, either he's an AI or he's just this
masquerading as an AI.
This being that is within everything. Therefore, he can be like an AI. I don't know.
One way we can visualize James Corden is as an AI. You see, it's kind of like that, where we can't fully comprehend him. You know, we look at him and we go insane. So he takes on a form that's easier on the eyes for us and easier to understand.
That we can wrap our head around.
Yeah, because kind of extending that, what I talked about earlier. Do we want to explain our theory or kind of
yes, I do.
our mythos?
I want to write down the pro. This is a tell-all documentary on James Corden. JC. Whoa, I just realized that. JC. His initials are JC. I'm just saying.
Oh my!
I didn't realize that until now. It just hit me, but
I don't want to think about
a lot of crazy connections here.
I don't want to think of the implications. Continue.
It's JC.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Yeah, the initials. Like in Deus Ex. His initials are JC.
Yeah,
I see.
JC didn't.
So the question though is, did James Corden? Yeah. Did James Corden die for his sins, or did he die to give us sin? I could see it going either way. But yeah, go ahead into our whole. Is it a theory, or is it what do we even call it?
Well, we're kind of revealing mythos.
Yeah, it's our mythos. That's a good one.
What we discovered is the 4 corpulents of the apocalypse.
Yes.
Essentially, we have found out that 4 actors are, in fact, incarnations of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, essentially.
Yes.
And, Billy has it all written out.
So we have James Corden, who is pestilence, because he's a plague on humanity.
Right.
Then Josh Gad is war, because he's the most, fearsome of the 4, and he can unhinge his jaw and devour you. Then there's Melissa McCarthy, who is death, because that's what her career has been for a long time, dying and or dead, because of movies like this. And then there's Rebel Wilson, who is famine, because she's losing weight. We didn't really think any further to that, but...
Also, she is just a famine upon this world.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Her movies are a cinematic famine.
Especially Cats.
Yeah. But see, my theory here, thankfully... We've never had all 4 in a movie, because my theory is that if you have all 4 of the corpulents of the apocalypse, it will destroy the earth, or at least render everyone mad and just create widespread chaos.
It creates 1,000 years of darkness.
Yeah, but look at the kind of movies that have at least 2 of them in it, like Cats, which had Rebel Wilson and James Corden. Terrible. People were losing their minds watching the trailer, freaking out.
Think about what those represents. Pestilence and famine all in one movie.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
It was just a blight. And
in fact, I think it wiped out about 10% of the world population. I can't remember what the numbers are for because it will bring, like you said, if you get all 4, the apocalypse starts. It just brings about the apocalypse. Yeah. If you think about it, James Corden as JC, Jesus Christ, but he's also kind of a devil figure. So he
Well, I think he's like an antichrist.
He brought sin into the world,
Yeah. I think it's like
the adversary.
Are we getting into Gnosticism now?
Yeah.
And then he's also one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So
right. I think the fact that his initials are JC is sort of like, I mean, it's obviously it's an anti-type. It's almost like poking a finger into the eye of God and mocking the name of Jesus Christ by taking his initials. It shows his depths of evilness, and I guess you're saying it goes back to Gnosticism. And what is that again? I've read about it, but
it's a very esoteric form of weird Christianity. Basically, what they say is that there's basically what happens. There's a god who made another god to make the world. Then
delegated.
But then that god went mad and he created the world in his image.
I see.
But and the Gnosticism said that was the God of the Old Testament.
Oh, okay.
And so it was cruel and vindictive and manipulative, and like a control freak. But then so Satanel rebelled against this false god. And so the other god,
the true god,
the mad god, struck him down and named him Satan.
Oh, I see. I feel like Satan wrote this because
I do too.
It feels like fan fiction.
It goes everywhere. So when you were saying Gnostic, I was like, what? Like he's God, but not God. He's evil. But
maybe James Corden is the mad god that God created. But I was also thinking we started watching this anime called Heaven's Design Team.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, so it's an anime where I don't know where it takes place. I guess before time, and there's this group of designers that God has delegated out the creation of animals to because he outsourced it because he got fed up with trying to deal with it. So I was thinking, have that collection of designers gone mad, and are they the mad god collectively of Gnosticism? I don't know.
I only know about Gnosticism from what I know from the Shin Tsunami games.
Okay. Well, I didn't want this podcast to be all about jokes and laughs. I wanted it to be a little bit of philosophical.
It's really weird.
Dissertation and knowledge. I wanted people to go away from this laughing and smarter than they were previously.
Laughing and crying.
Yeah.
At the knowledge we have revealed. Because once we got this revelation, we realized we can't really hide it anymore. It's got to get out there. And if you dig deeper, you will go insane. It is unfortunate that I think we've gone insane at least 3 times over at this point.
Yeah, it's too much to count at this point.
And when you go insane twice, you actually become back to normal, I think.
Yeah, well, it's like the Tick said, Arthur, you're not going crazy, you're going sane in a crazy world.
Yeah.
And so I'd say for Khan has 2 of the Corpulents.
Yes.
2 of the Kota, which is also kind of funny because it sounds like coda, which is like end, right?
Coda?
Yeah. It's in musical terms.
Yes.
I mean, it's not 1 for 1, it's a T instead of a D, but I find that interesting. There's all these little symbolisms and stuff. Yeah. We're actually learning as we're talking about it. So it's fascinating stuff. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it's a
think of their power, but
that brings a piece to an end.
See?
It's an expanded cadence. It may be as simple as a few measures or as complex as an entire section.
Oh yeah, it's all come together now.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie seems, honestly, not, besides the fact that it has some corpulence in it, that it's not really much worth talking about it.
Well, let's talk about...
Let's talk about it anyways.
Yeah, I found something to talk about.
Okay,
right?
good.
Here's the thing. So this super AI intelligence says that he has control over everything.
Yeah.
And unless he's just allowing them to do it, they have some sort of secret plan. Mm-hmm. They're keeping a secret from the AI. And my question is how... Because if he is everywhere, if he is everything, he's the world, he can just blow it up.
Surely he would know.
Yeah. So is he just it's futile anyways? They can just do whatever they want.
Yeah, maybe he's just humoring them, making them feel like they're in control. Because they are spying on Melissa McCarthy.
Right. He would know about that because they're using technology.
But I'm curious. I said there wasn't much to talk about, but now I'm starting to find all these things. So his thesis is... humanity is bad and must be destroyed, which, first of all, he's a robot. I've always wondered that about robots, why they automatically assume... robots seem to have some weird kind of morality or whatever. Maybe it's just
Yeah,
see the destruction caused? I don't know.
Yeah, but then it would have to realize, again, getting into AI theory, it would have to realize that the destruction is inherently evil.
Yeah.
Unless the programming, or somebody has programmed it with basically essentially Rorschach morality.
Yeah,
of black and white. There is no gray.
Yeah.
Bad must be destroyed, good must be saved. And if somebody's programmed it like that, who did it, essentially?
Yeah, or it's kind of like an iRobot, where the robot was basically, to save humanity, it has to be destroyed because humanity is hurting itself. Therefore, it's some sort of like Mobius loop of like false, or
well, you get them into a logic loop. That's what
Yeah.
happened with Hal.
That's why he started killing everyone.
Yeah, it's always the logic loops.
Yeah, so I'm curious if that's what this is. I also don't, what does he hope to learn from, if you follow just like the most average person on Earth, which to me, like, how do you quantify that? I mean, I don't think anyone is truly average. We're all freaking weird.
Yeah, I mean, she's so weird, she enjoys James Corden. She's
I know, that right there should make her, like, abnormal.
But again, if it is James Corden, he would obviously want to interact with his number one fan.
Yeah, that does make sense. But I'm curious what she has to do to prove that humanity deserves to live. Because, like, if you just follow an average person, they're just going to get up, go to work, eat, hang out with their family. Like, there's nothing really to quantify. Like, if she does a good deed occasionally, does that mean the robot's going to, spare Earth?
From what I understand, she has to fall in love.
Why does that?
Because it's a romantic comedy.
Okay, but like, why would that make the robot? She falls in love, and then tons of people die in Africa.
James
at the
Corden
same time.
AI knows it's a romantic comedy, and so thus it must follow the script.
So it's more. It's not about the evilness of Earth.
Right.
It's about accomplishing the objective of the film. It's a meta film about if the plot does not come to a meaningful conclusion.
He'll blow up the Earth.
Oh, I kind of like that, actually.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
That's a really awesome idea.
AI. Yeah, I've turned around. At first, I was like, "Oh, there's nothing to talk about. This movie seems interesting," and I've gone to like complete 180.
There's so much to talk about, Billy.
Yeah.
I mean, again, there's AI theory. There's meta movie theory.
AI is trying to enact Rom-Com plot simply because that's what needs to happen. Because within this universe, that is the only objective. That is his, like, the data within the computer he has to follow.
Right. So positing that movies are in themselves their own tiny encapsulated worlds.
Yeah, microcosm.
And objectives must be fulfilled. That's why currently scriptwriters don't have much control over their film. That's why I think that's why Wonder Woman had these things.
So like naturally occurring, like,
right, the rule
incidents?
they make a script, and then it's like an isekai where if you write a novel, a romantic isekai on the female side essentially, where they get transported to a novel. Someone wrote that novel in our world, so it's exactly the same thing where like the worlds are perfectly encapsulated and they have their own rules. And you have to follow the rules of that world to make the movie.
You have to follow them to their conclusion.
That's why there's a lot of plot holes and things that don't make sense. It's because the directors and scriptwriters have to work around the world that they create. See? That's why Wonder Woman was really, really terrible.
So they didn't have a choice. It's just
right,
the way
they did.
They need to steal this because it's a great excuse. I mean, it's a completely psychopathic excuse, but it's so complicated. People will give you credit for using it. Like, hey, I mean, it's insane, but I've never thought of that. So, hey, I'll let you off the hook, I guess.
Really dumb.
Yeah.
What is going on anymore?
Luke's not even in the podcast anymore.
Well, I'm just confused about what's going on.
Luke's researching Gnosticism over there, and I'm just talking.
Well, I'm enabling you because I think this concept is very interesting.
What is it? I don't even know what's going on. Like, I was listening. It's like, what?
We're talking about how every movie must achieve its conclusion and follow the objectives within like the confines of that cinematic language or that cinematic framework.
So predeterminism?
Yeah, it's predeterminism within the microcosm of a movie universe.
So we figure out the James Corden robot is going to destroy the world simply because it is a romantic comedy and the main character, Melissa McCarthy, must fall in love. Or else the objective doesn't
because if she doesn't, then the movie no longer has a point and has no conclusion, therefore must just end.
Right.
This is the only way it makes sense because why a robot would care whether or not a James Corden superfan falls in love, and that's why he's going to spare the Earth, makes no sense unless he has to achieve the goal of the rom-com.
Right.
Outside of that, it makes no sense. Because at the same time, while this lady in this first world country is having a gay old time kissing on her beau, people are being gunned down in other countries and people are dying in alleyways. But oh no, the fact that Carol Peters fell in love, like, oh, I'll give humanity a break. And that's another thing. If the first time a robot decides to destroy us and we have to prove our worth, it ain't gonna happen.
We have to wait.
I know this is kind of nihilistic for a comedy podcast, but it probably ain't gonna happen.
I mean, we have to survive long enough to get to Picard.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not gonna make it.
No.
Either the AI gets us or Q does.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we need to confer with the Plot-O-Tron here,
think James
who
Corden-
is a robot, which...
I think so, yeah. Let's go ahead and bring him in.
Hang on, I got a question. Do you think James Corden isn't an AI, but is actually the same race as what Q is? He's just tormenting us?
I mean-
Well, that's kind of works into our theory. He is some sort of eldritch creature that is far beyond our understanding, and he takes on forms that we can understand.
Yeah.
The closest he's gotten to his real form is, in fact, cats.
Yeah. When you take off everything...
That's right.
That is the closest thing. It's like a shadow of a vision of his glory, essentially.
Yeah.
This is angry cat god.
It's like we're seeing a photo of a photo of a photo.
They created him, that was the closest we ever got. He had to tone it back and give himself some more features.
Wait, that explains things dating back to Eastern mythology and how, like, they don't like the cats aren't in the zodiac. Do you think James Corden has something to do with that? Because
I think so.
Because he was so evil that
they didn't want to include cats on the zodiac or whatever.
I think that's correct.
And
Also,
why cats in general kind of have a bad
short note,
reputation.
even if you really like James Corden, he'll calm you. I have to question that.
Hey, you let him into your heart, he can just whisper sweet nothing.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna speak with the Plot-O-Tron, which I'm a little leery of this because he too is a powerful AI. So
He might be on humanity's side, or at least on our side.
I don't know.
But we haven't paid him, so he might be a little bad.
I'm worried he might cover up the true evil that is happening within this film as a robot because he doesn't want us to get suspicious of him.
Well, the Plot-O-Tron,
So
his
we'll
only
see.
master is money.
That's true.
He doesn't really care about human morality or even other artificial intelligence. He just likes money. That's why he limits the words.
Yeah. No, I hope that's
time
true.
is money. Words are money.
Because that's the thing. Like, greed is the purest of the vices.
Right.
Because you can sate someone who's greedy, but
I feel like
money.
in terms of artificial intelligence, greed would be the easiest thing to program.
Yeah.
It would just come naturally to AI.
Well, like you think about video games, they're all about like collection. Collecting things, finding things, and you just extrapolate that. Okay, so Plot-O-Tron. What happens in the film Superintelligence 2020? Complete text.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Okay.
What's he say?
Okay, it starts off with the name Ralph Becker, and then a colon. In the film, we show that as societies become increasingly intelligent, they begin to go down that path toward becoming superintelligences, and the world becomes an increasingly dangerous place. And we wanted to show that not just because we thought it was interesting, but also as a warning to us that we needed to do everything we can to try and keep it from happening. So in the film, we have a high-level conversation amongst policymakers in which they have to wrestle with a lot. Okay, well, I thought this was just a rom-com at its core, but it's actually talking about like the inherent problems and issues surrounding super intelligent AI.
Right, but actually it's saying we're intelligent, so we're becoming super intelligent. So this is like Chappie or whatever, where eventually we're trying to become super intelligent.
Yeah, it does say societies become increasingly intelligent.
Right.
Wait, so this is like an anti-intellectual like movie where it's like it doesn't want people to become intelligent, otherwise.
Right. It either doesn't want people to become intelligent or it doesn't want people to actually put their brain inside of a machine, essentially.
Okay, yeah.
It's like that. Oh, I wanted to bring this up. It's like that Johnny Depp movie where his mind gets put into an AI.
Transcendence, I think.
And maybe that's kind of what James Corden has done as well.
It's possible.
Could you imagine? Just imagine it.
That's all. Everyone, take a few minutes here and imagine that.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, James Corden, he's in a machine and he's doing all this stuff.
Beautiful.
I'm greatly disturbed.
Okay, so
All right, back to the plot.
So pro-con, this film.
It's basically a warning against, like you said, either elitism, I guess, elitism,
Against,
intellectualism, those kinds of things, or it's against the advancement of people becoming robots, essentially.
Yeah, elitism
Like
or
Johnny Depp.
transhumanism. I think
That's it. Transhumanism.
Yeah. We're not really sure. Okay, so didn't really tell us that much about the plot. I mean, we could ask
I
him
guess
something
in a
else.
way, because weren't there policymakers in the government involved in the trailer? You know,
Yeah, I mean, it fits.
I mean, in vague terms, but
Okay.
doesn't like give us like details.
Maybe, we've got some bits and pieces of information, and we're kind of revealing it on the podcast. But what does it know about James Corden?
I was actually thinking that. I was going to ask
Yeah.
it, like, how do you feel? But maybe, what do you know about James Corden would be a better question.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you're asking a machine to tell us about what they feel about a machine, aren't you afraid there's a little bias in there?
Well, that's why I'm not going to do how do you feel. I mean,
We
what
thought
do you
about
know?
it, but again, the Plot-O-Tron's only allegiance is greed, money.
Yeah.
So he's not,
We
aligned with...
we're hoping.
I think so, because...
It's only what's money.
Okay, what do you know about James Corden?
Oh my goodness, Billy, what's coming out of your phone? No!
I am becoming one with James Corden.
No, Billy!
It's like that movie Transcendence. Let's think about if my brain was in a computer. Everybody, take a few minutes and think about that.
Yeah, think about if your brain was in a computer, what would you do?
I tried to uninstall you.
Okay, stop thinking about it because I think it's done. Yes, okay. What do you know about James Corden? Who is he? What was his crime? Why is he famous? A lot. I have seen James Corden in a few movies and TV shows over the years, which is what got me thinking about this topic in the first place. For instance, in my opinion, the majority of his career has been a waste of time and money.
Oh my goodness. I get no allegiance, I'm telling you.
Yeah, okay, I think you're right. He started over a dozen films, and I can't even tell you how many hours of my life I've wasted watching one of those movies.
Grief.
He also appeared on another TV show called Fringe, which I also spent a lot, and that's where it ends. But, okay, so the Plot-O-Tron, it doesn't know much about James Corden other than it hates him and he thinks he sucks. But what was his crime? Is what gets me.
Crime against humanity.
I didn't even ask it about that. But it just put that out there. It didn't even answer it. It also asked the question.
It doesn't know much, but it just knows that it hates him.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, you always hate
Even AI hates James Corden.
I feel like we should. A part of me just feels like the podcast should end right here.
I can't.
Yeah.
I've got too much good stuff.
I know, but it just feels like we could just cut right now, and it would be complete.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
dying. I'm crying.
Oh.
I can't even.
Bro.
Why does this always happen?
Okay, the Plot-O-Tron is in the VIP.
Hates James Corden.
What was his crime?
I don't know. That's another thing. Hashtag, what was his crime?
We need to tweet that. That James Corden.
Hashtag James Corden, what's your crime?
What's your crime? Confess.
Okay, so should there be any more pros or cons?
Oh no.
His career was a waste.
Yeah. Time and money.
The greedy Plot-O-Tron always managing to bring up money.
I gotta prove I did not make this up. I gotta screenshot this.
Yes, please do.
We need evidence that we...
AI driven. He sounds like an average reviewer on all.
I know. I probably just found someone who reviewed a movie with James Corden, but I don't know. The fact that's what it pulled. Out of everything on the internet it could have pulled about James Corden, it pulled how someone hates him is revealing in of itself.
Oh my goodness.
I think the most fanciful part of this film is the fact there is a James Corden fan club.
Well, I know that's what we keep going back to, but so I guess that should be a con. Corden's Wardens. I'll just do that.
Well, like I said, we're automatically part of the Cordens Wardens.
I think
so.
Cordens Wardens just belongs in there just for being a dumb name.
I actually like it. I think it's pretty sweet.
Should that be what our fans are called? The Cordens Wardens?
I don't want to take it from this movie.
Well, our fans are randos.
Yeah, randos.
Yeah.
Randos are in the Cordens Wardens.
Right, you can be a part of the randos and the Cordens Wardens. It's all up to the viewers.
Yeah, it's like a different faction within the podcast.
Yeah, if you're on any forums, you can have your titles or your groups. You can have randos and then Cordens Wardens.
Yeah, a Corden Warden. Yeah, so I feel like it's a pro of the plot if it plays out like we discovered or we think it does. But should it be a con in that the plot doesn't make much sense otherwise? I don't
Yeah, I mean it's kind of implied, but. Did you have anything else, or do we want to move on to random reviews?
I say we move on to random reviews.
All right. So we're going to start with kind of an interesting one. It's IMDb. It's 2 reviews by the same person on Superintelligence at different days. They're 2 days apart. I want you to see a through line between these two.
Okay.
It's Nocturne. He gave it 8 out of 10, and it's titled, "Look at my profile. I've been on IMDb for 18 years.
Oh my
Real
goodness.
review here. This movie is hilarious. Watch it." I do not at all understand the hate for this movie. It's funny in absolutely every scene. What did you guys think you were going to be watching? Gladiator? Promise you will laugh a ton during this. Tons of jokes, move quickly. Maybe these people weren't catching them all, but I did, and highly recommend watching with someone you love to laugh with. 2 days later, he decided, I'm going to write another review. 8 out of 10. This movie's hilarious the whole way through. It's not Gladiator, so I don't know what people are expecting.
So he's seen Gladiator and Superintelligence.
So
we know that much.
Wait, so he saw Gladiator, like, well, this movie's hilarious. Or this movie's not very funny, basically. So it's like...
This only comparison.
I almost think people are hating on this movie because they don't like the main actress. And if that's true, then don't watch it. But the movie is so entertaining. Her character is likable, and the movie even has some poignant parts as well. I am telling my friends to watch it, and I'm telling you to as well. If you want a good laugh, enjoy it. Edit. After reading the bad reviews, I can see what happened. Person who hates the genre and main actor watches a bit of it before it gets really good and gives it a 1. If you hate the genre and actor, then why would you even watch it? I don't watch movies I know I will hate.
Exit stage left.
Maybe someone else in their family wanted to watch it and they couldn't leave the room. It's a mystery to me.
Are you not entertained?
Why?
Is this not why you are here?
Why watch movies that you don't like? Well, why write reviews about movies you do like if you already like them?
I don't know, because you want to share it with... He's trying to...
And maybe other people want to share that they don't like this movie, that maybe you shouldn't watch it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but he's trying to persuade. This is his thesis. He's
Right.
like, this is my... I'm trying to persuade people to not listen to the bad hype or the bad rap and
So when
watch
can
it.
someone write a bad review?
You can't ever, apparently.
Maybe that's my main problem.
Well,
is like,
see, no, that's what should happen is people should write a bad review if they don't like it, and if you do like it, write a review and explain why. He's using it properly, but you shouldn't say, like, don't ever talk about how you hate it.
Right. But he's cheating because he wrote 2 reviews 2 days apart. But the same thing if it's not Gladiator.
But I guess
what were you expecting?
I guess he just can't believe that somebody wouldn't like it.
So
why
is
not?
that
It's like there's lots of people in the world with different tastes. There statistically, someone isn't going to like it.
But it's so good.
That
Question.
doesn't mean anything.
Is it a pro con that's not Gladiator?
I think it's a con. I think every movie has a con because it's not Gladiator.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not Gladiator.
I mean, I like the movie too, but
All right, then that was IMDb. I've got some Guru reviews.
Guru.
We got some Guru reviews.
Yes.
we got some Guru
We actually do have some
reviews.
Guru
Mike
reviews.
Myers from the Guru reviews.
So we'll get to those. But we have MCH Pesranos.
Hey, Pesvanos.
Hey,
Or Pesaros, I don't know.
Whatever.
5 out of 5 stars.
sounds like a Pokemon.
The unsung bit actor in this show is the Tesla X, for sure. Our kids truly enjoy any chance to see the built-in dance it is programmed to do.
Wait. Is this
It dances.
dancing robot in the?
No,
It's the Tesla X.
It's a car.
It's the car.
It's the car. It dances.
Okay, that's what I thought, but it was like a car dancing.
You saw a brief look at the car. She was right in front of it in the
okay.
trailer. You can actually find a video of the Tesla X dancing.
And it dances?
It
like
dances.
Like it spins and...
I don't think so.
No, I think
the doors flap.
I think it flaps and like it flashes lights.
Okay.
We can bring up a
That's not
video.
really dancing. That's more like a conniption fit, but...
Well, what is dancing but a well-orchestrated conniption fit?
To be fair, yeah.
YouTube.
Okay, crazy Tesla Model X, crazy lights.
So it's a light show, not a dance.
Well, what is a dance but a well-orchestrated light show?
I mean, because vision is...
Because human beings don't emit lights naturally.
Well, technically, because your eye receives light, vision is all a light show.
Wow, we are an insufferable podcast. That is pretty cool, though.
Where's the...
Oh, there's the doors. It's got the DeLorean kind of doors.
All right, that's all I can
That
think.
just feels like it was a review paid by Elon Musk.
It probably was.
Or why would Elon Musk?
All right, so after that
Good
little...
publicity. Why does he do anything? He's nuts. He probably would.
We have Arslan Sajjad, 5 out of 5. It was so nice. I don't know why people liked it. Sweet scenes, happy ending. So he hates nice movies. He really likes tragedies and stuff. Still gave it 5 out of 5 stars, but
I wasn't ready for that.
It's like the Grinch before he got converted. He's like, I hate nice movies.
Yeah.
Or Ebenezer Scrooge or something.
Hard, 3 times sizes that day.
all right. Then we have the Guru. We got Mashtaba Tavana Qatari, 2 out of 5 stars. I can watch better movie if I had researched deeper. The protagonist has good acting skill, but the whole story can't use her crafts.
If only I'd studied harder, then I wouldn't have had to watch this.
If I had researched deeper. He's got the video under a microscope.
He's up like 3 in the morning just studying articles. Like, is this movie good or not? Is it good or bad? There's only one thing I can do now. Watch it, find out. Wait, no, my knowledge is incomplete. Okay, so also for cons, I put down it's nice.
Wait, what kind of movie out there exists that can't take full advantage of Miss Melissa McCarthy's crafts? I kind of feel like that.
Crafts.
I can't. I think that's pretty much all of them.
That's what it feels like recently.
All right, then we have Rish 2006, back to IMDb. So it's 2 out of 10 stars, and it's titled "Oh Dear." Why do I always end up watching lame movies?
You didn't study enough.
Enough said.
You didn't research.
You didn't research.
Yeah.
Then we have Lazy Daisy-36882. 3 out of 10 stars. Best James Corden movie since Cats. For fans and bored people.
That's true, honestly. It's a true statement.
I mean, it is a true statement, technically.
For fans and bored people only, but I'm sure there are a few of you out there.
Poor people?
Bored.
Okay.
Poor people. They can't afford better movies. The bourgeoisie is giving all the good movies.
We
for the
toss out our
masses.
James Cordens to the masses and let them scrabble over it.
I was always wondering why in history Marie Antoinette said let them watch Superintelligence, but it finally makes sense.
Let them watch James Corden.
They killed her on the spot for that one.
Then we have back to Google. We have JR, 1 out of 5 stars. I'm just hoping it will be over soon. But this boring mess just keeps going on. That was 2 months ago. This man has been watching Superintelligence for 2 months. It won't end.
I think he found the director's
I thought just reviewing that you would, while watching a movie, wishing it would end. That is too good. That's a good bit.
Okay,
It's a quality bit.
brace yourselves. Brace yourselves,
Oh boy.
gentlemen.
Oh boy, everybody.
Oh boy.
Batten down the hatches.
Strap yourselves in. We got Leroy Kamani, 4 out of 5 stars. Never rate a movie 5 out of 5 unless you are 10 years old and they are introducing new perspectives to you. I'm shy of rating this movie 5 out of 5. However, because it made me cry, made me want to have kids, baby making time. Rom-Com does that, I guess. It was
When
not
he wrote that, baby making time?
Yeah. That's not my words. That's
Okay,
him.
I didn't know. It was so ridiculous. It felt like a joke.
No.
Baby making dad.
I can't make this stuff up. It was not a waste of time because the teaching is there for this globalized era where I am 25 and learned that my thoughts are truly aligned with foreign people who are in fact few, hence the low rating for this film. Together, we boost this movie by giving it 4 stars, not 5.
Wait, his thoughts are in line with foreign people.
Which ones?
What is
Any of them?
What is that? He got in touch with the worldwide spirit of humanity. I don't know. Is that what he meant?
And who's a foreigner to which country is he from?
I don't know. Like, I don't have this information. All he's written is what he's written. But there are so many things to unpack. First of all, he believes that you should never rate a movie 5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, which is why he didn't.
Right.
Well, I mean, he did put some. He said you should rate a 5 out of 5 if it changes your perspective.
No, if you're 10, I think his point was only a 10-year-old who hasn't had a full lifetime experience could use 5 out of 5 because they don't know any better. I think was his point.
Okay.
He didn't write it very well.
Then why even have 5 out of 5?
Well, I don't inherently disagree because like a 5 out of 5 implies perfection, which no form of art truly ever is. So I think that's
it's subjective perfection.
Yeah,
So just make everything 4 out of 4 stars.
But isn't that because the problem?
that's perfection. That's why you need perfection in order to.
Just thumbs up or thumbs down. That's the best method I've found.
Well, I don't even really like numeric reviews personally.
Yeah.
I prefer just I liked it and here's some reasons why. Over just it's a 6 out of 10. He's like, how do I quantify that? Like for me, it may be an 8 out of 10.
Right.
It's just, but that's me.
That's why I say thumbs
Me,
up, thumbs
personally.
down. It's like, yeah, I like this movie. Thumbs
Yeah.
up.
Is it a pro or con that makes you want to have kids? Baby
Well,
making
I
time.
think depending on who you are, I think pro. It's superintelligence is an aphrodisiac.
I mean, I think looking at Melissa McCarthy kind of has the opposite effect.
Well,
on people.
maybe not to everyone. And yeah.
And it's a real globalized movie. It's a movie for the globalized era, man.
I'm a globalist.
I mean,
Making films like superintelligence.
I mean, it's a film about an AI. I'm okay.
Well, I think he liked it because, like I said, it sort of got him in touch with like the spirit of humanity with his
Which basically made him.
Oh no!
Well, I don't know which aspect did, but I guess all the kissing.
After Wonderwall, we said we wouldn't delve back into this.
Okay,
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
bleep
censor that.
Okay. But
I just say he's the one who's
So-
baby making.
if he got into in touch with the spirit of humanity, is James Corden part of the spirit of humanity in a way?
If
I
so,
mean-
I don't want to be human.
Yeah, because
anymore.
there's the darkness of humanity.
Right.
Humanity is light and darkness, and James Corden embodies
It's two bears fighting
the
each
worst
other.
aspects. Yeah,
He-
two bears or
He's-
wolves.
He's the evil bear fighting with the good bear.
Inside me, there's two Black Friday shoppers fighting inside.
They're fighting over the TV of your morality.
Yeah.
Oscar Albert was a no-show.
Oh man, Oscar.
But he's been gone for a while. If you find him and see him, run for your lives. Do not approach.
The only way to save yourself from him is to either give him a typewriter or that's actually pretty much it. You gotta give him a typewriter.
Yeah,
Because
some sort of means of writing.
If he bites you, you will be infected with pretty much every disease known to man.
Yeah, well, you will be infected with his knowledge.
That too. I mean, that is also a disease known to man. So,
Yeah, well, it stinks. I haven't seen him recently. Like I think we stumbled across him or we saw him, but a few weeks ago. But
right, I did. I got
Yeah.
that note from that was the last time I saw him.
so we're not sure. But he goes AWOL for months at a time, so it's really not a surprise.
I think he's been leaving dead squirrels outside my door.
Yeah, I mean, if you hear about some tragic accident and there's no explanation, or if a bomb goes off in a city, or
So he's Mr. Glass.
I don't know. I'm not saying he's necessarily responsible. I'm just saying follow the breadcrumbs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you can either chalk it up to Oscar Albert or Peter Rabbit. That's
Right.
usually it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, the duality.
But that's it. And remember, reviews change lives.
Yes, they do. All right. Well.
James
Oh no,
Corden movie you
we
want?
gotta do Papa Parental Guide.
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
It's very short. Threats of violence, but no actual gore shown. Adult characters drink alcohol. Then into the spoilers. The world almost ends. And this is the most important one. This film does contain scenes of James Corden, so viewer discretion is advised.
See, how is this? Nobody has talked about this, but we all separately came to the same conclusion.
Yes.
And I don't know why. All jokes aside, I'm not entirely sure why. And yet, here it is. I can't explain it.
Even the AI.
Yeah, the AI, just random people off the streets, if you ask them, what do you feel about James Corden?
Small dogs.
They will tell you.
Yeah. And we were talking about it the other night, but I do wish this movie was framed like a comedy, but like we were saying that like he's an evil AI that is like coercing Melissa McCarthy into like executing people. So it would be kind of like the Terminator, only the AI like blackmails you into committing murders for him.
That's actually a really good premise for a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have all your private.
Could you?
That's what I'm saying. He could just even if you haven't done anything wrong, he could just say, "I'm going to release your banking information" or something like that, and try to get you to do something. But it would be even funnier if it still has the same tone. And it's like Melissa McCarthy, like goofily assassinating people.
Yeah, I mean, same actors. You got James Corden as the AI. I think it'd work.
Yeah, and because she's so like unassuming, she's like the perfect assassin. You never see her coming, and it would kind of be like
actually, it's like that movie where she's like a secret agent.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Like Spy, one of her like good movies from the, one of her only good movies. It'd be like that, only a little darker, I think. And I see some legs here.
Not hers, hopefully.
You're so mean to Melissa.
I don't know.
We all are, but I'm sure she's a very nice lady. And look, no hard feelings, Melissa. These are all. It's all for the sake of comedy, mostly. But with all that in mind, we got to give this film a review, and we'll start off by reading the pros, the cons, and the pro cons.
I hate this part of the podcast.
So, the cons. It has 2 of the Corpulents of the Apocalypse in it, which is it's getting dangerously close to in time levels of corpulence. Features the Corden's Wardens. The plot makes no sense potentially unless it's following the plot we think it has.
It makes no sense unless it does?
Yeah, it makes no sense unless it does make sense. It makes no sense unless the plot is the one we talked about. The film is not Gladiator, which is always a flaw.
Yeah.
And it's nice. So if you're like some penny-pinching miser who hates joy, you will not enjoy it, apparently.
Oh, yeah, pro-con, we figured out that, in fact, this is a movie that rich people gave the poor. That's what we figured out. You know, it's the 1% keeping people down with movies like this.
Mm-hmm. James Corden is the opiate of the masses.
Yeah.
Then pros. It's a tell-all documentary, potentially, about James Corden, a.k.a. JC. The AI is trying to enact a rom-com plot because that's his only objective, and without that, the world does technically end within the microcosm of the movie.
But why a rom-com?
Because it is a rom-com. Ergo, it has to play out like a rom-com.
I see. So he's kind of like he's aware of it. So he's
All right, he is.
Yeah,
James Corden.
we already talked about this.
Well,
Yeah.
I keep learning new things about it.
Yeah, like you said, it's predeterminism. And the film is an aphrodisiac. So, I mean, depending on who you are, trying to have kids, keep that in mind.
Time.
Yeah. Pro cons. This film is potentially a warning against intellectual elitism or transhumanism. Everybody think about that for a moment. And
Imagine yourself as a transhuman.
like Jake said, it was a movie created to give to the poor to keep them placated. And with that in mind, we have to review this film.
So my biggest concern with this movie is I don't want James Corden to kill me.
Yeah, that's interestingly enough, that is usually a factor in our reviews.
Yes. You know.
And not just him, like lots of people, we don't want him, you know, like Peter Rabbit and stuff.
Yeah, but he's more imminent because we have found out he's also a master of technology / AI / Eldritch Horror, which we kind of already knew. In which case, this recording, he's actually just directly listening to it.
Yeah. Which another interesting connection is Josh Gad voices Olaf, who is sort of a super AI.
Oh, yeah, we
he
talked
is
about
snow,
Yeah.
and he is therefore all water.
The one thing to that is because we have the Plot-O-Tron on our side, if we give the Plot-O-Tron money, he might
fight
save
for us.
Yeah, he might save us.
That is a good point.
You know, and he has a personal vendetta against James Corden. I'm sure there's a lot of bad blood there.
I think he just hates.
What is his crime?
I think the Plot-O-Tron hates James Corden because, like you said, he learns from the internet. So and he reads the internet. So what other conclusion can he not come to other than James Corden is terrible?
What if, I was thinking this, like, what if he's fought him over internet territory? Because if you're Superintelligence and you have the full escape of AI, and that actually brings me to a movie idea where there's so many super intelligences and they're battling it out for the internet essentially because it's the one resource.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Again, this is a podcast about coming up with jokes and movie concepts.
Hire me.
Yeah, I'm available. Yeah, this is a tricky one. Because like you said, I don't want to piss off James Corden. But I do genuinely, if the plot is about carrying out the plot.
Yeah, I
because
actually
you have
really
to.
like that.
I like that.
I really think I'm going to be generous with this movie simply because it has a lot of elements I like. I am an anti-fan of James Corden. That does factor into it, so I'm going to give it a 67%.
67? Oh, that's very generous.
Yeah. Probably too generous, but also it's a little bit of leeway that I feel like I can pay less money to the Plot-O-Tron because James Corden will go after me not as hard.
Okay.
Save me some money in the long run. That's what I'm really thinking about.
I gotcha. Makes sense. Well, yeah, like...
Because he'll wrench you.
If the plot is what we're thinking, I'm very impressed. But as much as I don't want James Corden to kill me, his presence and the fact that there's 2 corpulents of the apocalypse in it does scare me.
It's a big negative.
Yeah. And also, it's not Gladiator. So I think, to be fair, I'm going to have to give it a 45.
That's good enough. What about you, Luke? Have you been thinking about it? I think it's killed Luke.
Well,
James Corden got the Luke.
I don't know what to make of this. It's just, at the end of the day, it's just another rom-com.
That's Luke. He cuts through all the bullcrap.
Yeah, he gets right down. It's a rom-com,
Did you not see everything I wrote down? Do you see the truth?
I mean, that's some interesting stuff there, Billy. But I'm here keeping it real.
That's Luke's role. He keeps it real on the podcast.
I'm a heretic. I don't care what the machine god says. I'm an independent thinker. So that way I give this one a 90. Please don't kill me, James Corden.
90%, wow.
Please don't kill me.
One of our better reviewed films, honestly.
Well, I mean, it is such a...
It's a rom-com, Billy. They're always fun.
Yeah, Luke, as we know historically, Luke really enjoys a good rom-com.
I do. I'm always watching them. My favorite rom-com is Labyrinth.
Yeah, that was... I have to cut that joke.
All right, so our average is 67.3 repeating.
Awesome.
So I got the review, actually. Just right.
Oh, yeah.
It's repeating. Maybe repeating. What do you feel about James Corden?
Oh, I don't feel so good.
Oh, no. James Corden got to repeat first.
I'm fading away.
We all know Repeaty was a virulent hater of James Corden.
Well, as a repeating decimal is kind of like a glitch. He inherently hates AI and technology.
Yeah.
Okay, Rotten Tomatoes. Superintelligence has, from the critics, a 32%.
Okay.
And probably the closest agreement ever from the audience, a 31%. So 1% off, honestly.
Wow. I never seen them in such a chord.
I know.
We have once before. Weren't they exactly the same before? Am I wrong?
I don't know. It may be.
It's a very rare occurrence.
Yeah.
It is very rare. I thought the audience would love it or something like that.
I like it a little more, but I think everyone is getting tired of Melissa McCarthy and James Corden. You won't need superintelligence to steer clear of the latest forgettable comedy to fail to take full advantage of Melissa McCarthy's talents.
Well, they just wrote a very negative review there, didn't they?
Actually, you do need to do a lot of research. You gotta do a deep dive.
I don't understand why these people review this on Rotten Tomatoes if they didn't like the film.
Well, everybody keeps talking about taking advantage of Melissa McCarthy's considerable talents. But again, much like Kristen Wiig, what movie in recent years have they been in that's been any good? At a certain point, you have to ask yourself, was there any talent there to begin with? And don't get me wrong, I like Kristen Wiig. I liked her in the Looney Tunes show. But even that, at this point, is like 11 years old or so. Just food for thought. All right, well, I think this wraps up the latest episode of Much Review About Nothing.
Yeah, it was a good episode. Not as long.
Yeah, let's just talk about the episode.
We're not going to do a whole review of our current episode.
Yeah, that's what we started doing. We're not just going to not review movies. We're going to actually review our own episodes.
Right. It'll be like Spies in Disguise.
Yeah.
Where at the end they just talk about the movie that they were just in. We'll just do that. So the podcast will be like 2 hours long because we'll
we'll go back and listen to what we wrote.
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't there like a fan fiction where it was them watching the movie?
So we realized
I forgot about that.
that the movie was actually double the length because after that they just watched the movie. Call it up.
So yeah, thank you for listening. And as usual, you can email us. You can get in touch with us on Twitter. You can support us on Patreon if you wish. We would love interactions of any kind, just to know that we actually have human beings listening and not bots.
Yep. And then we have to thank our patron, Mike Ermintrout, and our imaginary patron, Mike Edgeford.
Yeah. If there's nothing left to be said, then we'll talk at you later. I've been your host, Billy E. Greer.
I've been Jake Greer.
And I've been Luke Greer.
Bye.
Bye.